Hi everyone and welcome to Sultan Sanctuary NG Plus walkthrough. This is part 6 and we're going to continue right where we left off in the previous episode. I think we're going to fight two bosses in this video as well. This is a long video. I'm going to show you a lot of sanctuaries that are on this area and the progress route that you should follow, to progress through the game, and some secrets like this one. I also wanted to speak a little about the Japanese release of Dark Souls 3. I said I might speak about this in the Dark Souls 3 blind playthrough that I'm going to make, or that I'm probably already polishing, because when I'm recording this I still haven't, we are still not on April 12th, but we are really close to it. And yeah, so the thing that I wanted to talk about is basically this feeling that this feeling of maybe a lot of international people, and that have with the marketing fucking disaster that Bandai Namco did when it decided to release Dark Souls 3 early on 3 weeks early almost in Japan, and then decided to postpone, or the international release was on the April 12th, and it fucked everybody. But because I said I didn't want to get spoiled, and it's still true. But I already got spoiled in many ways. I got spoiled on YouTube. I got spoiled on Twitch, even not entering streams, but seeing screenshots. I got spoiled by reading boss titles, including the end boss of the game. I already know his name, which I didn't want to. I know many names of many bosses. I might not know the boss itself, but I know the boss designs because I've seen screenshots. Because these fucking magazines, I can't really unsubscribe from everything, because I'm using I own a YouTube channel. I cannot really go black, I cannot really detach from the internet from 3 weeks and just not do anything on the internet just for spoilers' sake. And I would like to, maybe, in other places I would have liked to do that in another time, but because I think Dark Souls is best when you play it blind, when you play totally blind. So when I say, and I'm sorry about the cars, guys, it's late, but I live in a city, so what can I say? Anyway, the embargo is the embargo for the game. The real embargo for the English version of the game is supposed to be until the 8th of April, which is when the first reviews kinda landed. I think the 7th or 8th was the embargo. So the reviews of Dark Souls 3 English version came out on the 7th or 8th of April. So there you can check out the review. I don't think I saw a review with a lot of spoilers, but the thing with the reviews is that there are many reviewers spoil the game anyway, and this is a problem because they don't spoil the game by saying stuff like secret stuff, but they just show you screenshots of the bosses. And okay, you might say, oh, this is an NPC that gives you an alternate ending, and you have to visit him a lot of times throughout the game. There are only 2 endings in the game, so yeah. And you might say, well, the trailer, the launch trailer of Dark Souls 3 already shows you a lot of bosses. It shows even more bosses than the trailers before then. Yes, but I got spoiled on the names of the bosses. I got spoiled on the mechanics of the bosses. in GIFs and in chat rooms in YouTube, because you cannot really enter a review without like mistakenly reading some fucking asshole that played the Japanese version, and the only thing that he wants to do is just put the name of the final boss or the ending or how it ends or something important like a character or an NPC that comes back, right? And even I saw reviews, guys, fucking reviews, putting screenshots of major fucking NPC characters that were on previous Dark Souls, and they just put the screenshots of the character in Dark Souls 3. I mean, what the fuck is that? I don't fucking get it anymore. And this is on the majority, this is the fault of Bandai Namco, because the Dark Souls 3 should have been a 12th of April release for everyone. Fuck the Japanese version. It should have never come out on Japanese, because all the streamers, all the big streamers and not so big streamers got the Japanese version anyway. They got it because well, one of the reasons that they got it is because they knew they were going to get spoiled eventually, because you just cannot hide from the internet nowadays, unless you have like a house in the woods and you go live there for 3 weeks, but that's a little extreme. So yeah, all the streamers bought the Japanese version just because they wanted to get views, basically. All the YouTubers played the Japanese version, even though a lot of these YouTubers that I'm not gonna name, but big fucking YouTubers that call themselves like they care about the story of Dark Souls, and they care about the lore, and they care about the characters and the NPCs, not centrically care about the gameplay. Because if you're a guy, like, I'm going to name one guy, which I agree with what he said. His name is Tolomeo. I got it on my not on my feature channels, but I watch his streams, and I watch a lot of his Bloodborne challenge runs and his streams. He's a cool guy. He's a really cool guy, and he has a YouTube channel, but it's a little abandoned, but it is there. And this guy said one thing. This guy bought the Japanese version of the game, but he said one thing that I think it fucking nailed the reason why he bought the Japanese version. He always cared about the gameplay mechanics of Dark Souls and Bloodborne. He mainly streamed Bloodborne, and he's not a big streamer. He doesn't really have to buy the Japanese version. He bought it because he knew he was going to get spoiled, and he didn't care about the story in itself. He didn't care about the story or the look of the bosses and stuff like that. He cared about people not spoiling the bosses themselves, people not spoiling the mechanics to beat the bosses, because that's one of the nicest things that Dark Souls has. Like the realization that you are fighting a boss fight that seems impossible at first, like, what the fuck is this? How do I overcome this? And then you beat it, but you did it yourself. You did it without watching a guide or a walkthrough. You know, most of people don't. I don't blame people that do search a little for help, but this is the most the feeling of beating that boss fight by yourself that caused you so much trouble, and having learned to fight it even, is the true it's the greatest part of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Demon Souls, and these games as well, Sultan Sanctuary. This is a difficult game as well, and the boss mechanics are not maybe on par with the Souls games, but there are difficult bosses that you have to understand, at least if you're not hiding behind a shield, right? Don't want to criticize people who hide behind a shield. No, I'm not saying that It's just a little. The game becomes a lot easier if you hide it behind a shield. It's just, this is all the thing that I'm saying. So, okay, so back on topic. I understand Tolomeo. I understand that the reason that why he decided to buy the Japanese version, but I don't understand the YouTubers who bought the Japanese version and a lot of times said that they care about the story and the characters and they liked, you know, I like to read all the rings, like I say myself, right? I like to read all the rings, I like to read the item descriptions, I like to know what's going on, I like to familiarize myself with the enemies when they drop like a piece of armor or something. I like to read about it, I like to read about the world. Well, if you bought the Japanese version and you are like recording a full playthrough of the Japanese version, you don't fucking care about any of that. And you're not fooling anyone, dude. You don't fucking care about any of that because you don't understand Japanese. The only thing you care about is views. Like if you come out and say, I'm gonna put up a full walkthrough, a line or whatever of Dark Souls 3 in Japanese, and you say it's because the first release is in Japan and I can play it anyway even though I don't understand it and I want to play it before I get fucked like with spoilers and shit, then it's totally, that's fine. I'm not gonna say anything wrong about that because that's a fine choice. If you do it, if you are willing to pay an extra fucking $60 just to not get spoiled, then it's fine. It's your money and it's your YouTube channel. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But if you feel your fucking subscribers and your fucking people that follows you with all these words about how much you care about the lore, how much you care about the, you know, the ambience and reading about the items and reading about the lore and then you end up doing a blind playthrough or a playthrough or well, I was going to say walkthrough. There's no way there can be a walkthrough. Well, maybe, but not the first time, right? And you end up just playing the Japanese version just because it comes out sooner and you don't understand any of it. It's because of the fucking views, dude. Like, who the fuck are you fooling? You're not fooling anyone. It's the fucking views. You care about the views. You care about making money on YouTube. You don't care about Dark Souls. If you care about Dark Souls, you're not gonna play the Japanese version. You're gonna wait out for the English version so you can actually know what the fuck is going on in the world. You know, you can actually find out most of the story and characters and what the fuck is going on because believe me, you unless you know Japanese, I mean, if you really know Japanese, then you're a master. Of course you should get the Japanese version, and it's probably better because the Japanese translation to English is a lot of times is a piece of fucking trash. But you're not fooling anyone. That's what I'm saying. If you're fooling yourself, you're not fooling anyone. And I'm kinda pissed off about these YouTubers. I followed a lot of them, and they all went for the Japanese version. Yeah, they just care about the views. They just care about the competition. The views or the competition are the same thing. They just care about not. They are scared about not being the first ones. This is all I'm saying. Like, everyone is jumping on the Japanese version wagon, and they need to jump on it too, because if they don't, they have to wait until April 12th. And this is I'm going to show you a few minutes from now, a few seconds actually. I'm going to show you why you saw me like kind of hitting the chests. Anyway, I'm going to mention some people that are actually in my mind still the best. I think I'm going to name. I'm going to probably name the best YouTuber of Dark Souls content, and an amazing guy, an amazing fucking dude. That's EMB or Marcus. Marcus decided to go offline until the English version of Dark Souls releases because he actually cares about the story, and he knows Japanese, dude. He knows Japanese, but he didn't care. He wanted to experience the English version. And you know what? You would have think that a guy as big as Marcus would have totally made a blind playthrough in Japanese, and no one would have said a fucking thing to him. But he decided to stick to the truth, that he would prefer to play on the English version of it. And guess what? His channel doesn't have anything on Japanese, any content on Dark Souls 3. And I respect that decision so fucking much, because that's someone that says something and then does it. Someone that actually has a word. Because you can say, I can't believe that they're releasing the Japanese version, blah 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 blah, and then you fucking do the blind playthrough because you know that, well, if I don't, then I'm basically out of the loop, because if you don't know what it means because you don't have a YouTube channel, or you don't know what's important in YouTube, what's important is to be the first or among the first, because those are the people that are going to get the views. Those are the people that when a lot of gamers or whatever fans of the Dark Souls game or whatever game releases are going to be searching for stuff. If you're among the first who has a video about it, you're going to appear in the search, and that's probably going to give you subscribers and views, and that equals money. So that's everything that matters, that people find you, and that people find you first. So that's why everyone jumped on the Japanese version. So I really respect Marcus, because he said that he already said that he wanted to experience Dark Souls 3 at 100%. He wanted the English version, and he didn't jump on the Japanese one, even though he could have understood it. No, he waited and still waits for the English one. And I'm going to name a Twitch streamer, which I watch a lot of times. I watched from since the beginning. I have watched him when he streamed Metroid, and he streamed Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls, and now he's a big streamer, right? But I follow him since he had like 200 or less followers, and his name is Lobos. You probably know him by now, but by the time that I started to watch him, he wasn't internet famous, quote unquote. So he's a great guy as well. He doesn't know Japanese, and he's not going to cover any Japanese content. He said that he could have done the same that almost tons and tons of other streamers did. Like they didn't understand Japanese, not a word, and they jump on it because they want the subscribers. In YouTube, in Twitch, it's about the subscribers, not as much as views, like in YouTube. And but you also have ads, so it's about the views as well. It's about who's watching, you know, as well. But yeah, Lobos, he's a great guy. He's a great streamer, and he has honor. He has the award for himself. So yeah, I only can rescue these two people, to be honest, from the bunch that fill up their words about, oh my god, how important Dark Souls is in terms of story, lore, item descriptions, I want to read everything, blah blah blah, and now they're playing Japanese and they don't understand a fucking shit. And worst of that even, in my opinion, guys, I know I'm fucking I'm probably triggering a lot of a lot of people, but I don't care. I don't fucking care. I'm entitled to my opinion. There is even a worse aspect of this. People found a loop on the Xbox 360. What the fuck am I saying? On the Xbox One, people found a loop in the Xbox One system that you could download the Japanese version, and then I don't know how you did it, but you can actually just play the English version. And the bad thing about this is that you end up playing a version that is easier than the normal Dark Souls, because it's a version that is unpatched. It's the version that was given to reviewers to review the game, if I understand correctly. And yes, if you think that's bad because reviewers get an easier version of Dark Souls, well, that's the world that we live in. Many times the reviewers are not hardcore people, are not people that should be reviewing a game like Dark Souls, but they are, and some reason I survived all of this, I don't know why. And they were streaming the English version of the game. Like, what the fuck? What even fucking shit is that? I mean, the English version is not supposed to hit until the 12th of April, and they were already streaming the English version on Xbox One because of a glitch. This was a shitstorm. Now these people are not banned, even though they use a glitch to play the English version. That's even worse than everything that I said before. They're not banned. Bandai Namco just issue a statement that they cannot continue to play the English version of the game. So now they stopped and they went back to the Japanese. But it's just a marketing fucking disaster, and I just wanted to give you my opinion of it. I'm going to play Dark Souls 3 in English because that's the language that I know and that I understand, and I do care about the lore and about the items. We're gonna be reading item descriptions and armor descriptions, a lot of stuff. I want to know about the game in its entirety of it, because I do care about the game, guys, not only the gameplay. Okay, so enough rant about that. This was part 6, guys. I'll see you in part 7.